Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sonia and here on my channel we have healthy discussions about life, love, dating, and relationships while promoting self-love and healing. I also give my perspective, analysis, assessment, dating advice on reality TV shows and hot topics. Today we're going to talk about Ready to Love. I'm not talking about a episode in particular. I'm just going to give my thoughts on the cast and the process and the people that have gone home. But first and foremost, if you are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. I appreciate you for stopping by. If you are a new subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. If you're just passing through, thank you so much for passing through. If you like the content, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Now let's get into Ready to Love Potomac season 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because we don't know. Because we don't know. I think we're going to call it season 6 because us, the viewers, view it as the 6th season. Y'all, I had to take a break. So thank you for people who were patiently waiting for me to start giving commentary on this show again. I exhausted myself last time. So this time I promised myself no lives, no interviews, none of that. I'm not getting involved in any of that. I'm just going to watch the show, review the show. And if there are lessons that can be learned, I'm going to share those lessons. I did do a live with, and when I say live before, I'm talking about watching the cast lives. I'm disconnecting from the cast is what I'm speaking of. But I did do an awesome live with First Home Tuber and Afro Mama. Is on First Home Tuber's channel. I'll link that video in the description box below, but please go to both of their channels, show them some love. They review the shows, subscribe, leave comments, you know, promote the channels because I love both of them. They're great people, especially the First Home Tuber is like I just love her. She's an awesome person. She has great information about real estate and getting prepared to buy your home on her channel as well. So please go show her some love and support. Okay, so I have trust issues with this show right now. I'm going to be honest. They keep making changes, and that is that I understand what they're doing and why they're doing it, but I'm kind of like, can we just can we just stick to a format? It's that, but it's more so of I really wish they had, I've said this since day one, like therapists, coaches, just some support, some help on this show, because I think a lot of people could benefit from it. And it's okay to see those processes play out, right? So like I said, as far as the cast goes, I'm not going to engage in any of the extracurricular activities. I'm going to just stick to watching the show and giving content and commentary based on lessons that we can learn or something that I find to be interesting, worth discussing. So let's get into it. First, I'm gonna talk about the people that went home. Okay, I'll talk about Fernando. I wish Fernando had not gone home. I don't see a reason why Fernando hadn't gone home. People said it was his suit, but for me, it's like if you are really truly in the place in your life where you're trying to find the right person, I don't think a suit should stop you, because you can work with that. A suit is something you can work with. It's kind of like when you buy a house, you walk into the house and you can see, like, you don't like the wallpaper, you don't like the paint, you don't like that they have carpet, you want hardwood floors, but you love the structure, you love the location, you love how the layout, you love all these other things, but you just want to make some cosmetic changes. That's how I view that. It's like, get to know him a little more. I didn't like the fact that they sent him home. I don't really understand why the suit was the big issue. I do know people have to be attracted to you. And I didn't find him to be unattractive. He just didn't have like a certain suit. I don't know. I wish Fernando hadn't gone home, but I wonder if that was production, because people really were having conversations about Popo or Paul, but we'll talk about him later. Next, Miss Keena. Now, Miss Keena, I can kind of tell why she went home, because she was over it. She was over it. She was like, my feet hurt, I'm tired, I'm thirsty, it's been a long day, and I'm not really trying to engage. I'm just gonna come and sit down and y'all talk amongst yourselves. So I think that is part of the reason why, but that may have just been an edit too. But some of the feedback from the fellas was kind of that way as well. Next, we have Tiffany. For me, I feel like Tiffany was selected to go home because Tiffany really had her eyes set on what she had her eyes set on. I think Tiffany really wanted love. I think she really wanted a partner. I think she had honed in on Wiley, and that's who she wanted, and she didn't care about anybody else, which last season that was okay, but for some reason this season it is not. But Wiley didn't go along with that narrative either, so maybe that's why. And I didn't like how Cornelius misrepresented their conversation. When she said she wanted to get married, she wasn't rude or aggressive or anything about it. She was trying to determine if he and her were on the same page. And when he said, you want to get married, she was like, yeah, I'm letting you know I want to get married. And that's my goal, right? So for her, pretty much that's the end of the conversation. When it comes down to the conversation that she was having with Papa, he's asking all of these questions like a rapid fire from what we can see, but it isn't a conversation. So it's kind of annoying when you're asking questions and they don't seem to fit anywhere. They don't seem to go anywhere in particular. Like there's no, you don't understand the purpose. She even asked him, why are you asking me all of these questions? And he said, I'm trying to get to know you. I need to dig deeper, but the questions didn't match the intention, if that makes sense. So I was just like, I think she was misrepresented, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure that her person was there. And so Miss Tiffany went home. So next up, let's talk about Cornelius. I think with Cornelius, he seems like a really sweet teddy bear, but I don't think Cornelius wanted a commitment. It seemed like every time somebody brought that up, he got bothered by commitment. So I don't think his intentions were truly to be there to like find a potential future partner or like commitment. I think he just kind of wanted to be there. I don't know. It's just like whenever somebody talks about marriage or commitment, he was, if you watch his facial expressions, he was taken aback. So I understand why the ladies didn't feel like, you know, he was a good fit to stay on the show. So who do I think is going to go home next? I think it's going to be Precious. And I just want to talk about Precious for a minute. Precious is serving herself up on a platter and it doesn't look good or fare well for her. And a lot of people use this, Paul used this statement too, which really bothers me sometimes, is that, you know, people are intimidated. This is not about intimidation. People oftentimes are not intimidated by you. They are turned off by your behavior or conversation, or you may be a little off-putting to them, or they may just not like it. You may not be their cup of tea, but it isn't intimidation. I think I heard Carmina, Paul, and Precious say that. You knowing what you want is one thing. Constantly pushing yourself on another person is another. And she talks a lot about sex, which a lot of this cast does. And I don't feel like that's the issue. If you're a very sexual person, you're a sexual person, right? We're adults. We want to do what we want to do. I think a couple people are at their peak. And so it's like, okay, I don't have a problem with that. With her, it's kind of like it's with everyone. And it isn't exclusive. So it doesn't look like she has any regard or respect for herself. It doesn't look like she feels like she has value and only a selected person can have access to her. It doesn't feel like exclusivity. It doesn't feel like that man can be sure that she won't allow anyone else to entertain her. She's like all over the place. She's just not showing that she's self-aware, but that she has self-respect. Men respect what they earn, right? When they've earned it, when they know not everyone can have it, when they know that it's a value, that you know your value, and they know that you are valuable, they respect that. That's what they're looking for. And her behavior shows that I'm going to give anybody the time of day. I'm going to give anybody my body if you want it. So first, she was bonding over trauma with Troy. Check out my video on trauma bonding and how bonding over trauma can lead to trauma bonding. But she was just like, so I can fix it. I can make it better. you should pick me because I'm going to make it better, right? And then she has conversations with everyone else and it's pretty much the same. Just pick me and I'll be do whatever you want me to do. That's her behavior. And that's problematic for someone who's looking for a particular type of woman, or who wants to know that their woman is going to be a great extension of them. Like, you guys are great extensions of one another, and how you carry yourself, it reflects on that person, and especially on a man. And then it's also, what kind of situations are you going to put me in? How are you going to handle yourself in these situations? Am I going to have to fight for my honor? Am I going to come home and it's a man in the bed? Like, there's issues there. I like Precious. I think she has a great heart. I think she's a sweet person, but I think Precious probably should just go and answer the questions as to why she's in this space that she's in. I think she just has to be okay with the man pursuing. She doesn't even give them the opportunity. She's like, already here, I'm ready, you want me? And you know, that's unfortunate. So again, I wish Miss Precious the best. We'll see if she stays or goes next week. And I hope her healing, light, and health. Okay. So let's get into my thoughts about the rest of the cast. First up, we have Sabrina. I really like Sabrina. Sabrina seems leveled. She is a person who I feel like has really done the work when they talk about therapy. As you guys know, my channel is a teaching channel. I talk a lot about therapy, healing, and reflecting on your behaviors and how they impact your dating. And I like how Sabrina is making herself available, in the sense she lets you know that she's interested, but she isn't pushing herself off on anyone. And she's communicating who she's interested in and why, but she's just not loading herself. But I really like Sabrina. She seems very level. She seems to know what she wants, and see that she has done the work, and she's aware of what she wants and what she's looking for. She's not going to waste your time, but she's very polite. She's not guarded. She's not angry. None of those things. You don't get any of that energy from her. It's just kind of like, okay, let me see where this goes. No, this isn't for me. I love that with her and Pa. She was just letting them know, like, hey, your foot is on the gas all the way down, and that's not what I need right now. What I need in my life is some balance, and I want someone to enjoy life with. I don't want that hustle, go, because that's not what I need. It's so important to know what you need and what you want, and that involves you knowing yourself. And you can tell that she really knows herself. And so I really, really like Sabrina. Next up, we have Wiley. I don't know if Wiley is for this season. I think he probably would have did a bit better with the season with Adriana on it, because I could see him and Adriana. I think they would have had a perfect balance and energy for one another. But I don't think this is the season for him. I called him the baby. No disrespect to you, Wiley, but I'm just like, I feel like he's just new out here. And I think a lot of these people are either in different places and spaces, or I don't know. I just feel like this is more of a mature crowd. I just don't think it's a good fit. They did bring him a young lady, and I'll talk about her later, but she's already talking to Pawpaw, so I don't even know. She says she normally dates older. I don't know. I just don't think this is the best environment for him, and I'm not sure he's really ready to settle down, or if he's just ready to be on the dating scene, and there's a difference. I think he's ready to be on the dating scene, because I don't think he's had the opportunity to do that because of his football career. So we'll see with Wiley. Next up, we have AP. AP is one of the newer cast members that was just added as a curveball. And I like AP. She lost her husband, and she said she's done the work and she's back out here dating again. But I don't know if AP is really ready to reveal who she is. And that takes some time after a healing process. When you first get out there, it's a little rocky, because this is new. You're operating out of a new mindset and through new lenses. And it sometimes takes a little bit. I don't think she's really ready to be vulnerable. I don't think she's really ready in the sense of sharing her. And I'm not quite sure if she's gotten really back to her. We haven't seen that because we don't hear about her. We hear about her loss, which is an experience she had, but we don't hear about her as a person. Like, what do you like to do? What do you eat? When she was having a conversation with Demetress, he was trying to kind of get to know her more, and she really couldn't show that. She was the coach in the moment. She was the survivor in the moment, but like who are you as a human being, as a lady, as a woman, you know? So we're going to see more AP. We'll see what happens if she doesn't get sent home next week. But I think they're going to send Precious home. Next up, we have Tori. Tori, I'm not sure if Tori is truly emotionally available yet. I think he can get you to a point, but I'm not sure he can get past the threshold. And I say that because number one, y'all know it's a red flag for me when someone talks about trauma out the gate, because I need to figure out, why do you want me to know your trauma? Why do you trust me so much? And the reason why I say you have to be careful there, sometimes they're trying to get that information from you. And if they are a narcissist or a predator, they will become what you need, love bomb you, and then get you into this relationship, and then that's when the abuse starts. So I always say be very careful when someone, especially real deep dark trauma, when someone is just so willing to tell you about how they weren't hugged and they weren't loved and things like that. If they tell you that they had therapy, ask them what type of therapy, what kind of therapeutic tools are they using. Like, even if you don't ask that question right away, you need to get that information. Did you go to therapy one time? Are you really going? Did you even get a good therapist? Because all the therapists, just like all the coaches, aren't great out here. So, you know, hold off on getting emotionally attached to that and kind of know what else is going on, and if they are really in a healed place. And you can tell that, you'll be able to tell that by their actions and conversations and the things that they say. I think he's kind of looking for someone to fill a void. I'm not sure if he's ready for a partnership, right? And you got to be careful getting into a relationship with someone like him. So Sabrina and him seem to have a connection. We're going to see where that goes, because I really do have concerns about that. Like, Sabrina is very nice and kind and nurturing, and it's like, are you going to feed off of her, or are you going to pour into her and she pours into you? That's a different dynamic. So we'll see with the two of them. Next up, I have Joy. I really like Joy. Joy has like the prettiest smile to me. I love Joy. When I get these braces off, I'm going to tell my orthodontist my teeth better look like Joy. Oh gosh, I'm teasing. I do want them to look better. I actually don't have bad teeth. I have an uneven bite and I had a gap on the side. So it was just like, let's just do everything. But honestly, I would not have gotten braces if it wasn't for the bite issue. Because to me, it was a little character for me to have my gap. But anyway, yeah, I love Joy's smile. Joy has the prettiest smile. So I was like, Joy grew up with brothers or boys, you know, but I realized, I should say, that she was raised by her dad. And you can tell that she had a lot of men influence in her life. And I say that because Joy is living her best life. She can be feminine or womanly. She lets you know that she's a woman, but she doesn't take a lot of things too seriously. So she's having fun. Like, she's just not worried about anything. Joy's not worried about anything. Joy's like, whatever, we're gonna have fun. I like you. Okay. Like, you don't see her moved in so many ways. And when you grow up around men, they kind of teach you that, because they don't worry about a lot. If it's something to worry about, then they worry and they try to fix it. It's not, I'm going to dwell on this issue right now. But she knows how to joke with them. That's another thing I could tell. She can do that banter. She can do that back and forth. And she makes men feel comfortable. You know, Laverne, who's very closed off, feels very comfortable with her. Clifton always goes back to her. She's very welcoming. She gives you friend vibes, but she gives you, I can be your woman vibes, but you can let your hair down. Like, she's a good mesh there. So I enjoy seeing Joy on the screen. We're going to see what happens. She does flirt a lot, and Joy's ready too, honey. Everybody on this cast is hot and ready. Joy's ready too, but you can tell that the men aren't put off by her sexual jokes and things like that, because you can see more of her, you know? You still get to know Joy. It's not just about sex, and she's not pursuing you. She's just, you know, letting you know, I can joke about this too. So she just doesn't take things seriously. I like Joy. We'll see. Next up, we have Clifton talking about Joy. And let me tell you something. Clifton has the youngest child or only child syndrome. Clifton is like everybody and everything is mine. Mine. He's like the youngest kid that everybody just had to give things to just to stop them from having a fit. Every time you turn around, he's like, well, I didn't get a date with her. I didn't have my one-on-one time with her. No, she's with me. She's not with you. It's like, you can't have everybody. Everybody isn't yours, Clifton. You don't own one single person here. Clifton is I like seeing him on camera, like he's entertaining. But I'm not sure Clifton is really ready to settle down. And I was so shocked when he put Carmen as one of his top, when he just told Joy that he really wasn't that into her. Like, I think Clifton is still playing. I don't think he's ready. I just think he enjoys himself with Carmen. But I don't think he is like, yeah, I'm ready to settle down. I don't think a serious relationship is the goal here. I think he's just gonna have himself a good time, you know. And then he talks about his divorce, and he said it was his fault. But it's like, what else? What have you done about all of that? Have you dealt with why you were cheating? You know, because there's a reason. Insecurities. You know, there are different reasons. There's always a reason for cheating, but the reasons usually are more so within. So insecurities, you know, it's always a choice. Cheating is always a choice. Some people are triggered by different things, but most times it's internal completely and not partially. And I really feel like, have you dealt with that? So I don't know. We'll see about Clifton. I don't know about him. Next up, we have Dakota. Or Dakaya. I hope I'm not, I know I'm mispronouncing her name. My apologies. I'll get it together. I like her. I'm waiting to see more. She's ready for somebody to get it together. She's ready for somebody. It's interesting because she could be like very motherly and very head of the class, but at the same time she can be such a cute lady. I like her so far. We're just gonna see. Her facial expressions tell it all, and I like the fact that you can tell some things she doesn't care for, but she doesn't let others move her emotions, or move her emotionally, I should say. You saw how Carmen came in the kitchen with Chef Playa, and she gave her the look, but you know, Carmen is competitive. So she didn't act out. She didn't get nasty. She just said, you know what? You come find me, which is classy and mature. So I like seeing her on camera. We're going to see what happens and where this goes. I think maybe she can find a match here. Time will tell. We'll see. It's too early. So next up we have Laverne. And Laverne, to me, when I see Laverne, I see a person who doesn't want to be rejected. And so he has this bravado that he puts on. He sits back and he's waiting to be pursued. He wants to know for sure that you want him. Yeah, I'm filming during the day and people are walking their dogs, so you may hear some barking. Anyway, he wants people to pursue him. I think that's a comfort zone for him, so he won't feel rejected. And Laverne strikes me as somebody who may have some issues with abandonment, which a lot of us do, you know. And he talked about how he had to control. He likes to be in control of things, which is where I got the abandonment idea from. I think he probably feels like if I can control the narrative, then I can control the outcome. And that's just not true, because you can't control other people. And I did a video about, are you ready to love? And I'm going to link that in here. And it talks about, you know, you have to be in a place where you know there's a potential that it may not work out. And you just have to, are you really willing and ready to put your feet out there? And I'm not sure he's ready to give that up. But I would say that he enjoys his time with Joy, and Joy opened him up. But he talks so highly about Ace and how she's Mother Earth. So it's interesting. It's like, well, why don't you make your move on Ace? And that kind of makes me feel like, well, maybe you don't feel like you deserve it. You know, some people don't feel like they deserve love or healthy relationships or people they perceive to be good or perfect. And I'm wondering about that with him. And it may not be true, but I do wonder if that's the case with him. But he does feel comfortable with Joy, so we'll see what happens between the three of them. Carmen is a piece of work. You know, I don't like it when women compete with other women. I don't like it when women down other women. It shows insecurity, for one. You don't need to be territorial. What's for you is for you. Don't dog other women out. And I see that behavior with her. She mentioned how not too many of them have natural hair. But it's like, you're not 100% natural either. Like, you don't have to tear another woman down to get ahead. So that's where I am with Carmen. And again, I'm surprised that Clifton is interested, but we'll see where that happens, because you know, Clifton could be fleeing. Who knows? But yeah, I don't like how Miss Carmen is navigating herself in this process with the ladies. I don't know about the men, but with the ladies, she's ready. She's another one who talks about, Carmen is another one who talks about people being intimidated by her, and it's not intimidation. Most of the time I can see people are just being put off by you being so aggressive towards them, or just being so pushy, you know, or so bossy. Like, that's not really attractive, honestly. Knowing what you want is one thing, but being bossy is another. So next up, we have Demetress. I really like Demetress. I think Demetress is another person who has really done the work. He said he was divorced. I think he said he was divorced, but he had gone to therapy and things like that. But I like how he carries himself. And I noticed what he did. So with him and Sabrina, he wanted to see who was who and what was what. Like, he was assessing the scene. And he let her know that he was interested, but he didn't put hardcore press or anything like that. He gave her her room when she was talking to Tori. I think he was just trying to determine who is a good fit for me. And I think he's figured that Sabrina is a good fit out of all of the ladies for him. And so he let her know. And let that be a note, ladies. When a man wants you, he's going to let you know he wants you. You don't have to ask him. You don't have to ask him. He'll tell you. If he wants you, he'll tell you. And he'll profess, basically. So I like Demetress. We're going to see. He asked AP some really good questions. And again, he knows what he's looking for, and he knows what he wants, and he's assessing for it. And he didn't see the nurturing person that he needed from her. And so she's not for him. And he's like, okay, I want Sabrina. Another thing I want to say about that conversation with Demetress and AP is AP said, I don't need a man in their conversation. Ladies, let me tell you something. The moment you tell a man that you don't need him, what is he doing there? That's the question he's asking himself. Why am I here then? You don't need me. Why am I here? And I understand why women want you to understand that I don't need you, but that's not anything that has to be said. So now he doesn't know where he fits in your life, or the whole reasoning for him being there, because you're just, I don't need a man, right? So you don't need companionship, you don't need conversation, you don't need intimacy, because that's what that sounds like when you say I don't need a man. You know, you can say, I don't need a man, I want a man. Like, we get all of that, but I'm just letting you know that, and I've heard this from men themselves, when you just stand there and say, I don't need a man, that is an automatic turn off, because it's like, well, then I don't need to be here, right? Unless you get somebody that wants to be taken care of. And so he's going to say, okay, you don't need a man, but I need you to fund me. And that's exactly what will happen. He will just take advantage. But again, he will still pursue someone else that shows the value that he brings to their life. So cut out, I don't need a man. That's a terrible thing to say to a person. It really is. Ace is up next. I really like Ace. Ace communicates a lot with her eyes. Like, she can really draw you in. She looks at you and goes right to the depth of your soul. Like, I can feel that through the screen. I like Ace. I don't think she has anyone here though. And what I like about her is she doesn't care. She's like, okay, I'm here. We'll see. You guys are all right, but I don't know. Again, she's someone else who's done a lot of work on herself, and that shows up. I like Ace. I just don't think her person is here. So time would tell. She's talking to Laverne, but I don't know about Laverne. Next up, we have Eric. I call Eric Player Chef. Eric does not have boundaries, and he tells people what they want to hear, which I am not a fan of. I said he doesn't have boundaries because when Carmen came into the kitchen when he was talking to Dakota, he pretty much like ignored her. He could have easily said, you know, we're just in here chopping it up. He let her come in and take over the whole scene, and he didn't show respect to Dakota. And I hope Dakota picks that up. Like, he should require that people show respect for that space and time, and he didn't. And then he told her what she wanted to call Carmen. Then he told Carmen what she wanted to hear, that I'm gonna be with you. And he just told Dakota like, yeah, we're gonna be in a relationship. I don't like it. So I don't deal with a double-minded man, and he's double-minded in my opinion, and playing games. So I'm not feeling Player Chef. So next up we have Christina. Christina supposedly was brought in to kind of give Wiley some company, but I don't think she's gonna stick with him. She's already talking to Papa, and they seem to have hit it off. I don't know if she quite really truly knows what she wants. I know she wants someone that's okay with her having a daughter, or that would be good for her daughter, but I'm waiting to see what else she's looking for in a partner. And the fact that she went to Papa, and the fact that she talked early about, again, her trauma. Ladies, for the reasons I said earlier, you'll get yourself a good old narcissist if you come out the gate telling men to come out the gate telling a person about your trauma. I was in a toxic relationship. No one needs to know that. Not right now. You don't know them. You don't trust them. And most importantly, you don't know what their intentions are with you. And when you give too much information up front, trying to get empathy and sympathy, it's going to backfire, and you'll end up with the wrong person. So I don't know. We're going to see. I'm waiting. She's still new. We don't get a lot out of her, but we'll see what happens. Last but not least, we have Paul Popo, or as I like to call him, Papa. I like to call him Papa. This isn't the environment for him. I don't think this is the environment or the cast for him. I don't think Paul is a bad guy. I think Paul probably got some bad advice early on. Paul approaches dating like, I want you to prove to me that you're good enough for me. You know, it's kind of like that old school. Once you have become successful, then you need to have the pick of the litter when it comes to the women. But you have to be more than just successful now to have a woman, right? And so his approach is outdated, and it won't be effective. Not for what he says he's looking for. You know, if he wants somebody, you can get somebody to go along to get along. I don't think that's what he wants, because if he did, he would go for Precious, because Precious is like, whatever you want me to be, I'll be and I'll do. And he's already turned off by Precious, but I talked about her behavior earlier. Anyway, it would benefit him to learn like how to have conversations. Asking all of these questions, especially these questions without direction, doesn't look good, and it won't really get the information that he wants. I think he's a really nice guy. I think he does want someone to love him, and he wants a relationship, but he needs some better dating tools. I think he would benefit greatly from that. If he can learn to have the conversation of, will we make great partners versus are you good enough for me, he would get further in the dating world. If he was willing to accept feedback and input, he would get further. You know, Sabrina was really trying to help him out, but it's like he didn't really want to hear what Sabrina had to say. And even during the later conversations, he doesn't want to hear what you have to say. He feels like it's a you problem. No, It's not. He said asking questions is how you figure out who people are. You got to be able to have a conversation, because you put people on guard when you're just rapid firing questions. It feels like a test, and it doesn't feel like getting to know each other. It doesn't foster a safe environment or comfortable environment. I won't say safe. It doesn't foster a comfortable environment when somebody is constantly just asking you question after question and won't really answer your question. His whole game plan is just wrong. He just needs to learn how to have a proper conversation and those other things I suggested. But I'm not sure this is it for him. And then I'm not sure that Christina will be the right one for him. But we'll see. It's still early on. We don't know who really has a true connection. I do like Sabrina and Demetress together. And I don't know. I think Joy and Clifton could probably ride this out, but we'll see, because I don't think Clifton is serious. Other than that, I don't know if there's any real connections here, but we'll find out, right? We're along for the ride. It's early on. All right, guys, that's the end of this commentary and my thoughts on Ready to Love. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thumbs up the video, and I will see you here next time. Please don't forget to love yourself for who you are. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.